Hello there, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Angie, and I am standing in front of the most endangered species habitat here at the Great Plains Zoo. Behind me you will see Ayasha and Nayati, and they are our pair of red wolves. Ayasha was born here in 2008, and Nayati is 1 year older than her. They do live to be anywhere from 10 to 18, so our pair is getting a little old, but they're still doing great. You can tell Nayati apart because he's a little bigger than her and a little redder, and Ayasha is obviously smaller and she's much grayer. She has a very white line under her lower jaw. So like I said, these are the most endangered species here at the zoo, and they can only be found in North America, mostly in the United States. So historically, they could be found in south central to southeastern United States, but currently they can only be found in North Carolina in one small part of the state. So in 1980, the red wolf was declared extinct in the wild. There were only about 20 red wolves left. So biologists went out into the field and took all the living ones that they could get their hands on, and from that there was 14 that they could put into zoos and breeding facilities, and they were able to breed them and get to the population that we have today, which is not very much. They are part of a reintroduction program in North Carolina. However, currently the government is reevaluating their program. So we haven't been able to relocate any of our wild wolves back out into the wild in recent years. So currently that we know of, there's probably only about 7 to 10 red wolves left in the wild. We're doing what we can in zoos to make sure that we can keep their population going, making sure that they have a nice genetic diversity that hopefully will lead us to a sustainable population in the future. So right now, across 43 zoos and breeding institutes, there are about 230 red wolves. So in order to see red wolves, really you do have to come to a zoo, and sadly they may be extinct in the wild shortly here in a few years. In the late 2000s, their population was actually up to 130 individuals in the wild, and due to humans, that's why that number is now so low. So they have a lot of problems with human strikes, such as people shooting them or car strikes. But what people really need to know is how biased they have been in literature. If you think back, one of the first books you've probably read was Little Red Riding Hood, and they talk about the big bad wolf, or even as recently as Frozen, the bad animal in that one was a wolf as well. Well, that's all wrong. The red wolf is actually a very shy animal. They don't want to come into human contact. They are more afraid of us than we are of them, and they pretty much stick to themselves. They live in family units, so it'll be mom, dad, and then multiple years of pups sometimes, but they like to eat the smaller prey, so raccoons, rabbits. Ranchers tend to think they're going to go after their cattle, but really they won't. They'll just stick to those smaller prey that is easier to hunt, and they can get lots of them because there are rabbits everywhere. So another reason that they're potentially going extinct in the wild is because of habitat loss. Every time a building goes up on land or a house, new housing developments, we are taking land away from the native animals. And that's a lot of what's happening there. Their habitat is being defragmented for industrial purposes. But on a happy note, we do have 2 very healthy wolves here. We have had multiple litters here. I've worked here for 12 years and I've worked with 4 litters. They are very, very cute, but we do not get to play with them. We let them be as wild as possible. We don't even train with the red wolves because we want them to be wild in case someday they get to be chosen to go back out into North Carolina and continue the wild population out there. But if you're looking for our red wolves at the Great Plains Zoo here, be sure to look along the back fence line. They like to dig little wallows, and they will lay in there and just curl up like any regular dog or house cat would do. Or you might see them playing. They love to play with leaf piles. They love to chew on sticks. We don't give them many balls because they will chew them up, but they love a good antler that has been shedded off of a deer or a caribou, and they do love to eat. So a lot of times you will see them hunting little starlings or squirrels, possums, anything that is silly enough to crawl into their exhibit, they are willing to eat. So if you want to see the all-American red wolf, come join us in the dog exhibits at the Great Plains Zoo, and have a good day.